Hello, and welcome to Money and Mind, the audiobook that will transform the way you think about wealth, spending, and financial freedom. I'm so glad you're here. Whether you're listening during your morning commute, at the gym, while cooking dinner, or winding down before bed, you've made a powerful choice. You've decided to invest time in understanding not just how to manage money, but why we behave the way we do with it. Here's what makes this book different. We're not going to bombard you with complex financial jargon or rigid budgeting rules. Instead, we're going on a journey into the fascinating psychology behind your financial decisions, the hidden beliefs you inherited, the emotional triggers that drive your spending, and the mental patterns that either build wealth or sabotage it.
From salary to wealth, the rules most people ignore. Introduction: The Great Divide. There's a fundamental difference between earning a salary and building wealth, a distinction that eludes most people throughout their entire working lives. You see it in the image before us. On one side, a person slumped at their desk, watching financial charts decline, trapped in the cycle of trading time for money. On the other, a figure stands confidently overlooking a landscape of opportunity, passive income streams flowing like rivers into their future. This isn't about working harder, it's about working differently. It's about understanding that wealth isn't built on the foundation of what you earn, but rather on what you do with what you earn. Most people spend 40 years climbing the corporate ladder only to realize they've been leaning it against the wrong wall. Rule 1. See your salary as a seed, not a reward. The first shift is mental. Stop seeing your salary as a trophy for hard work. See it as raw material for building something greater. The mindset transformation. When you receive your paycheck, what's your first thought? For most people, it's a sense of relief, followed quickly by a mental calculation of what bills need paying and what desires can finally be satisfied. This is the salary as reward mindset, and it's precisely what keeps people trapped in the cycle of working until they're too old to enjoy the fruits of their labor. Wealthy people see money differently. To them, every dollar is a soldier that can be deployed to fight on their behalf in the wealth-building battlefield. Your salary isn't the finish line, it's the starting gun. It's not what you've earned for your past efforts, it's the capital you'll invest in your future freedom. The seed analogy. Think of your income like a farmer thinks of seeds. A farmer could eat all their seeds immediately and satisfy their hunger today, or they could plant those seeds, tend them carefully, and harvest exponentially more food in the future. Most people are eating their seeds. When you receive $5,000 in salary, you're not holding $5,000. You're holding the potential for $50,000, $500,000, or even $5 million over time, depending on how wisely you plant those seeds. But this requires delaying gratification, thinking long-term, and understanding that your current lifestyle is not a reflection of your current income, but rather an investment in your future wealth. Breaking the consumption cycle. The average person experiences lifestyle inflation with every raise. Earning $50,000, you live a $50,000 lifestyle. Get promoted to $75,000, suddenly you need a nicer car, a bigger apartment, and more expensive vacations. This treadmill never stops, which is why people earning $200,000 often have no more financial security than those earning $60,000. They've just upgraded their consumption to match their income. The wealth builder thinks differently. They might earn $75,000 but maintain a $50,000 lifestyle, creating a $25,000 annual gap that becomes their wealth-building capital. Over a decade, that's $250,000 that can be invested, multiplied, and transformed into genuine financial independence. Rule 2. Automate your wealth before you see your money. The second rule that most people ignore is the power of automation and the principle of paying yourself first. The psychology of willpower. Here's what most financial advisors won't tell you. Willpower is a finite resource, and it's a terrible foundation for wealth building. If your plan is to spend money on necessities and pleasures throughout the month and then save whatever's left over, you'll save nothing. Human psychology doesn't work that way. We rationalize, we justify, we find reasons why this month is different, why we deserve this purchase, why we'll start saving next month instead. The most successful wealth builders remove willpower from the equation entirely. Automation as architecture. Set up automatic transfers on the day you get paid, before you see the money, before you can spend it, before you can rationalize why you need it for something else. It's gone, moved into investment accounts, retirement funds, or wealth-building vehicles. This approach leverages a psychological principle called out of sight, out of mind. If you never see the money in your checking account, you won't miss it. Your lifestyle will naturally adjust to the amount that's actually available to you, and you'll be building wealth in the background without the constant mental burden of deciding whether to save or spend. The percentage strategy. Start with 10% of your gross income if you're just beginning. That's your non-negotiable wealth-building contribution. As you receive raises or bonuses, increase the percentage before you increase your lifestyle. A good target is to eventually save and invest 20 to 30% of your income, though aggressive wealth builders push this to 50% or higher. The beauty of this system is its invisibility. After a few months, you won't even think about the money being transferred. It will simply be the way things work, and your wealth will grow silently and consistently in the background. Rule 3. Understand the difference between assets and liabilities. This is perhaps the most critical concept that conventional finance education fails to teach, and it comes from Robert Kiyosaki's influential work. The real definitions. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. It sounds simple, but most people categorize things incorrectly. Your primary residence, despite what you've been told, is not an asset. It's a liability. It doesn't generate income. It consumes it through mortgage payments, property taxes, insurance, maintenance, and opportunity cost. Yes, it might appreciate in value, but while you're living in it, it's taking money from you every month. A rental property that generates more income than it costs to maintain, that's an asset. Dividend-paying stocks. Assets, a business that runs without your constant involvement. Asset, royalties from creative work. Assets, these things work for you, generating income while you sleep. The wealth formula. Wealthy people focus obsessively on acquiring assets and minimizing liabilities. They understand that financial independence isn't about having a high income. It's about having your assets generate enough passive income to cover your living expenses. If your monthly expenses are $4,000 and you have assets generating $5,000 in passive income, you're financially free. You could earn $300,000 a year in salary, but if you have no assets and $15,000 in monthly expenses, you're trapped, one job loss away from financial catastrophe. Shifting your focus. Every financial decision should be filtered through this lens. Is this an asset or a liability? That new car? Liability. It depreciates, costs money to insure and maintain, and generates no income. A course that teaches you valuable skills you can monetize. Asset. A designer wardrobe? Liability. Index funds that pay dividends. Asset. This doesn't mean never buying liabilities. It means being intentional about it. Buy liabilities with the excess after you've invested in assets, not before. Rule 4. Leverage other people's time and money. The wealthy understand that there are only 24 hours in a day, and your personal time and money are limited resources. Exponential wealth requires leverage. Time leverage. When you work a job, you're trading your time directly for money. This is the least leveraged position possible. There's a hard ceiling on how much you can earn because there's a limit to how many hours you can work. Business owners leverage other people's time. They build systems where tens, hundreds, or thousands of people work to generate value, and the owner captures a portion of that value. This is why business owners can earn exponentially more than even the highest paid employees, because they've broken free from the time for money exchange.
You don't necessarily need to start a traditional business to leverage time. Creating digital products, building online courses, writing books, developing software, or building a YouTube channel, these all allow you to create value once and sell it repeatedly, leveraging time across multiple customers simultaneously. Money leverage. The wealthy also use other people's money to build wealth. This is the power of debt, used wisely. Notice the distinction: debt used wisely. Taking on debt to buy a depreciating car or fund a vacation is financial suicide. Taking on debt to acquire cash-flowing assets is a wealth-building strategy. Real estate investors do this constantly. They use bank money to purchase properties that generate income exceeding the debt service, building equity and cash flow simultaneously. Businesses leverage investor capital to grow faster than they could with only their own resources. The key is ensuring that the return on the borrowed money exceeds the cost of borrowing it. The multiplication effect. When you combine time leverage and money leverage, wealth compounds exponentially. Imagine building a business with investor capital that employs people to generate value. You're now leveraging both other people's time and other people's money. This is how ordinary people build extraordinary wealth within a single generation. Rule 5. Invest in appreciating assets and income-generating vehicles. The final rule that separates the wealth builders from the salary earners is understanding where to deploy capital. The inflation trap. Keeping money in savings accounts is a guaranteed way to lose wealth over time. With inflation averaging 2 to 3% annually and sometimes much higher, and savings accounts paying less than 1% interest, your purchasing power erodes every single year. You're moving backwards financially while feeling safe. Wealthy people understand that cash is a tool